So one question I receive super frequently in the last couple of weeks is, do all these online certificates, from universities, from consulting firms and so on, are they actually worth something? All these certificates, online courses and so on. And people keep posting them on LinkedIn and saying, hey, I did this thing online, Harvard, this, that. Is it actually worth something? Now this will crush some people's hearts and will be a little bit brutal, but let me tell you about a conversation that I had with a recruiter, okay? And I've known this girl, already for a long time. And what we did was we talked about, this whole thing. Now we see more and more people putting up different online courses in their LinkedIn, for example, but some of them also listed in their CV. So is that a good thing? Is it not? So here's what she said. So in the past, this absolutely counted nothing, so nothing whatsoever. So you could do like a nice HarvardX course or something else on Coursera or things like that about different topics, and it really wouldn't be worth a lot. Quite frankly, it makes sense because in the past the quality of these courses was not always good, and also big universities weren't offering any online stuff, so it was mostly unknown course providers and so on. Okay, now what's more interesting, we talked about how it is right now, so what's in the present, and we also talked about how she thinks it will develop in the future, and my opinion is one-on-one related to that. So in the present, how it is right now, it's still not as established as it should be, okay? So although you see a lot of guys and girls putting up these certificates, and then you always get like an electronic signature, right? And so you can prove that you really did this thing online. Although you see a lot of people putting that up, it's still not worth that much. What's the reason? I think these courses add value. So for example, I started a course some time ago from Bocconi University about PE and VC investment. And I mean, most of the stuff that I learned there, like many of the things I knew, but some of the things were really cool and really built a much stronger knowledge foundation than what I have. So my personal opinion is it's quite useful actually, right? Now, the institutions that you're applying to, investment banks, consulting firms, big corporates, and so on, they are slow institutions. And for them to react to trends like that, it takes a little bit of time. The reason being, it's not about the processes. Like the firm can switch up the processes pretty quickly. The recruiters can say, and many of the recruiters already say, oh, like that's actually quite useful. We should pay more attention to these online courses and so on, and these online certificates. But it's also about all the other people in the firm. And as a matter of fact, nowadays, if you talk to some, managing director who has been partner at the firm for like the last 15 years, and you ask him about the worth of these online courses, he's probably going to respond, not that much, right? Because he or she hasn't done these kind of things, so they don't know to appreciate it. When they hear that stuff, they think about, some kind of YouTube videos they might have seen in the past. So that's certainly one reason, and I know personally a lot of like people with that mindset, like partners at big firms, really people who are at the top of the food chain, and they don't value this kind of stuff. When I would tell them I did this PE and VC course at Bocconi, they would laugh at me. They're like, yeah, okay, man, but now go to Stanford and learn some real stuff, Which is like just partly true, right? I mean, on the one hand, yes, of course, the learning experience might be much better if you go actually somewhere and you learn it in presence, offline. You communicate with other people and so on. But then again, it's also totally not worthless, right? All that stuff that you learn online has substance. Okay, so that's the thing. How is it going to be in the future? So currently I would say it's still not there yet. There's still ressentiments by many people, especially more senior people in the organization. Is that stuff actually worth it? Now, short answer, in the next 10 to 15 years, these people are going to be replaced by younger people who are going to value online courses more. So it's obviously going to change in the long run. But is it going to change in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? That's a bigger question. Me personally, I do think and I feel a shift towards more importance of these online courses. Just by the fact that more people feel, bold enough to put them on their CVs, this signals kind of a shift in the industry. As I said, I had this conversation with this recruiter, and also what she feels is it's going to become more important. Right now they are kind of considering it as a plus. So if someone, maybe did a course in strategy at some online university and they are applying for a strategy consulting job, then it's like a nice to have, cool, but it's not going to move the needle in terms of, okay, you get the job or you don't. It's just like a nice cherry on top. But also she foresees that this is going to become more important in the future. Is it going to be in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years or 10 years? Nobody knows, and I certainly also don't know because I can't predict the future. That's just a matter of fact, What's on the whiteboard? That's a couple of interesting things, a couple of Chinese lessons and a couple of calculations on how we should price a workshop, and also a couple of notes on what our focus should be for the next months. By the way, for everyone watching this, if you're interested in this topic, take a look at my video, how to get into consulting from non-target schools, because it's very related to what I just said. Basically, this ties pretty nicely into all these things that we just talked about with online certificates and stuff. And you will benefit greatly from watching that, okay?